Hello guys, and welcome to a new Star Division 2 video today by myself, Vulcan, and Attack Power.
Good to be here as always, thanks for having me.
In this video we have for you game 2 of a best of 3 between Insha and Gonzo in the semi-final of Season 8 of the Steel Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Orsha North, and on our left in the red team, playing on the Soviet side, we have Gonzo using the 126th Gorno and the Maverick deployment type. And on the blue side, also playing on the, well, allied side, we have Insha using the 1st Polish Infantry and the Maverick deployment type. So yes, indeed, it is an allied versus allied matchup. I apologize, but we're here once again, so off we go. What do you think about these divisions, Attack Power?
Are you saying there's an issue? I'm not seeing the issue. What's the problem? Isn't this how World War II happened? Anyway. So don't forget also, guys, hit that like button, subscribe. It really helps us out a bunch. And yeah, it's nice to know you guys appreciate the videos. So yeah, over here on Gonzo's side, 126th Gorno. I love this division. It's not a super great division, but this is one of Gonzo's specials. He plays this division really, really well. He's known for playing this division really well. It is a spam central division. Tons and tons of really strong infantry, specifically CQC infantry, some unique tank units and stuff. It's a really fun division to play. Over here on the right, we have Insha playing the 1st Polish Infantry, and this division's really, really strong. T-34s, IL-2 spam, extremely strong infantry. The Polish infantry can make for a really dangerous early rush and all that kind of stuff. So especially on Orsha North, both these divisions are pretty well suited. So we should see, I would think, a pretty fantastic matchup. Notice once again, both players on Maverick, like I said, Division 1 players, I think they're just so good. They need to have all the points right away. Otherwise they'll get run over playing something like Balanced.
Yeah, it is interesting to see the Maverick thing. I really expected more people to play Balanced after Maverick technically got nerfed. So I guess, did Balance technically get nerfed as well?
Yeah, it did. It went from 135 in Phase B to 130. So yes, it did. But me personally, I'm a Balance player. So like I just don't like the pressure of Maverick. I really do think at these top tiers of play though that these guys, they get so many troops out by the end of Phase B. If you're in Balance and you just have that many less troops, you have what 400 points less troops. It is really crushing to try to catch up with, you know, players like of this caliber.
Yeah, did you know a really interesting statistic for this this season of the Steel Division League? I in fact have a 100% win rate with the 1st Polish.
Do you now?
Anyway, completely useless statistic. Let's move over.
Vulcan.
Let's move over and have a look at Gonzo's units. So on the top, he's got these Gorno Sapoli. They're like small units of Sapoli with the grenades. They do have a Gorno Razvitka up here. I actually really like the Gorno Razvitka. I think they're 8-man squads, but they also have a machine gun and also a Molotov. And then the Moskaya up there as well, the standard line infantry squads. And then we got
best tank in the game, the BT-7.
Oh, did he add a BT-7? He did.
Yeah.
Further down, we have the Maxims coming in with the 4 GPAs. There's the OB-25 there as well, the infantry gun, with the ZIS-2 AT gun, the PTRS as well, with the Gorno Sapoli at the back. And then further down, we got some more of these PTRS squads with the Gorno snipers and the Sapoli in there, with 2 OBs, a Razvitka and the BT-7, another BT-7 on the very bottom side with another Gorno sniper with the Moskaya leader, 2 Moskaya Piechota and the Gorno Strelki DP. Over on the side of Insha, since we're already underway, he has some of these universal carrier Dushka trucks. Why have you got friends with Dushkas on them? Okay, D34, you got some Streltsy, LKM and Zviadkani. He's also got the PTRS squads coming out at the start. Infantry gun going to be covering the center with the Maxim there and the Sapori. And then he's got another infantry gun, AT gun. Actually, those are just 2 infantry guns. He's got another PTRS, another machine gun, Zviadkani. Yeah, there is an AT gun, sorry. And then you've got the PTRS coming up on the bottom side with a lot of infantry coming down here. 3 of the descents with the 2 of the descents with the Molotovs, a bunch of the long-range infantry, and the close-range infantry there as well, the Sapori.
Yeah, down south he was actually able to stop some of those infantry with his PTRS. Oh, Vulcan! I just remembered a fun statistic too. I have 100% win percentage against a guy named Vulcan in League.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'll call for. These Gorno VTR squads, they're kind of interesting. They got 4 men, and we're going to completely ignore that slight.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. It was too good.
The Gornos definitely into the town. They actually got taken out before they unloaded, but Gorno's Red Kid's going to get in there. With the Molotovs. Oh, they got the 10 men, sorry, and the 2 Molotovs. Still, very, very good infantry squads, those Gorno's Red Kids. But these Descents on the bottom side doing a fantastic job. They bumped into these Moskaya. But odds are they're going to be pushing them out. The N3A1's just on an absolute rampage with its 50 cal.
Oh my goodness.
Only trouble is these days, because of the 100-meter minimum range for machine guns, it's kind of causing the M3A1 not to be able to use its 50 cal at all, and does get taken out by the Moskaya. So that was a bit of a fail on Gonzo's part.
Yeah, and Insha had a little bit of mispositioning in the town at the beginning with his PTRS. He put it too deep, and it wasn't able to shoot out at the transports that were coming in, because he could have killed more of these troops out in the open. In the center here, a Gorno Saperty actually got into this little forest here on the blue side, and Gonzo was able to grab this little building complex here in the middle as well. So definitely 2 big grabs for him. And on the flip side, Insha really did not push Gonzo's town at all. You often see that. But he is making a pretty good push up north, and of course down south he's made a lot of progress. But that BT-7 can definitely ruin the day of that M3A1, which it's about to right now.
A nice P-40 bombing strike comes in, takes out the AT gun and also the infantry. Managed to kill off the OB there at the same time, so like the infantry gun, sorry. So Insha losing a couple of important support weapons that were covering the center, which is going to allow Gonzo to maybe move up some more of these Gorno Saperty into the town. But yeah, nice push coming through here on the bottom side for Insha, definitely making a lot of ground here with his Polish infantry, and on the top as well. It seems like just in general, Insha has a local superiority on the top and bottom side, but Gonzo's managed to take mid control for the time being.
And he's got a big flag lead for it at the moment, 13-11. But now Insha is finally about to grab this flag over here. If he keeps pushing those Strelkys across, he can't get wimpy here. If he does, that leader is going to hold it. Oh, he does finally get back to a 12-12, and he needs to... He's really got to reassert himself into the center here with, you know, some of these support weapons and stuff. And he should have some T-34s, I would think, available to do something.
Yeah, one thing that I feel like Insha didn't really do very well last time in the first game was he didn't, like, there was a couple of moments where he didn't push forwards like aggressively enough with the infantry units that he had, particularly like on the bottom side with the Zabucha map. But in this case, it's exactly the same. He needs to get that infantry squad to kill the Moskaya leader. He just needs to get rid of it and just push himself in there like as quickly as possible, so that Gonzo doesn't have a chance to come down this road and reinforce his bottom side forest in time.
Yeah, he's got to leverage this. He can pick up, I mean, he's got 2 flags already. He can pick up a 3rd if he pushes them out of this complex. But Gonzo's noticing this, and he's doing the smart thing and pushing where he is strong, which is in the center here. And Insha really needs to bring up some tanks, some T. There's like no AT here for Gonzo at all. If he just pushes up a couple T-34s, he could really do some damage. But he's going to let these BT-7s bully him, which is, I mean, BT-7s, they're wonderful because they're disgustingly fast, but they are not heavily armored anyway. Up north, Universal Carrier actually pinning down some Moskaya Pekotas.
Yeah, good old Insha knowing something we don't, using Universal Carriers with Dushkas on them. I guess the Dushka does have the like a reasonable amount of suppression, not quite a 50 cal amount, but you know, it's still a decent amount. And with it being an armored vehicle, it's hard to get rid of.
A BT-7 though is going to ruin its days as long as it runs around the corner there. Gorno Saperys though in this little forest in the center town, really bad for Insha. Finally bringing in a T-34. He needs to get some more infantry into the town now because Gonzo's starting to just melt in. But he did finally take out that leader down south, so that's huge. He's kind of got this forest kind of secured down right now. If he could just kill this Moskaya and this BT-7, there's nothing else for Gonzo down there.
Yeah, his Streltsy did manage to kill one of the BT-7s with its AT rifle, the PTRD, so that was a nice pickup for him. The BT-7 on the top side, though, yeah, going to be able probably to deal with that Dushka truck. And we got the T-34, though, in the light cover further down. Maybe I have to challenge that. The nice thing about this T-34 positioning at the moment in the top is that it is covering the road for the time being. So
now, big move for Insha. He's finally able to recapture his own forest in the middle here. P40 takes out the unit that was capturing, but he luckily also took out Gonzo's unit. Another P40 up north. It really looks like Insha's got to start getting some AA in, because Gonzo is bullying him with these P40s.
Yeah, those P40s have such a nice payload. It's like a 250 kilogram bomb and like 2 100s, I think.
Yeah.
And they're just pretty much guaranteed to one-shot an infantry squad, no matter what size it is, other than something like a Straff. So yeah, making great use of them to kill off these Streltsy units, but the Streltsy Insha still causing problems on the top side there, getting their machine guns onto the ZIS-2. Also there's Viet Connie, really nice unit because it has an MG42, only 25 points as well. He's bringing those in at 2 vet, and so they're going to be able to melt that ZIS-2 if they want to, but the ZIS-2 is gone. BT-7 trying to come in to support, but he's going to have to take that off the road early, because now the road's covered by that 45mm AT gun and the T-34. So Insha still making good progress on the top and bottom side. And the PTRS slowly sneaking up on the bottom side there might be able to find some transport snipes in the future.
Yeah, he's finally got a T-34 in the center here, so hopefully he can start rolling back Gonzo's BT-7s and such. Now, unfortunately, Gonzo is bringing his ZIS-2, so that'll actually start to secure that up. Insha can still get some. It looks like he is bringing some Streltsy in into the town, I would assume, to reinforce that and maybe push Gonzo back. He doesn't have much. Gonzo's hold here is tenuous at best.
Yeah, the trouble with the 126th is it really does lack that medium armor, and so that's something that Insha can take advantage of massively. The other thing that he can also take advantage of is the lack of Gonzo's AA. Like, the 1st Polish has pretty damn good aircraft in the early game, cheap IL-2s with decent payloads, so utilizing those to get rid of like these annoying OBs and the AT gun that might be stopping him would be a fantastic choice, and then he can follow it up with the T-34 once those threats are clear. But so far we haven't seen any airplay from Insha.
Yeah, another T-34 in the center here. And he's also losing these little like support gun wars. There's all kinds of OB-25s and these S-52Ps that are just dueling. And Insha's unfortunately coming out on the bad side of most of those engagements, and it's starting to hurt in the middle.
The rate of fire is just so bad on the Polish infantry guns compared to the OB, and it just causes them to lose every time. I don't think I personally take them in my 1st Polish because they are that bad. I'd rather just have a spam of Maxims.
Yeah, same. T-34 is finally getting in position here, taking on some of those BT-7s. They should be able to easily kill these as long as... I don't understand how the line of sight works there. Do you see this T-34 and BT-7 shooting at each other? They have absolutely no line of sight at all. Well, they're dead now, but
it's
weird.
Technically do have line of sight if you zoom in. It's just like the line of sight indicator is not always accurate, right?
It's annoying.
It can be annoying, yes. But the T-34 there, did it take a penetration? I think it might have from the BT.
It looks damaged, so I'm going to go with yes. T-34 in the forest there does go down, though, unfortunately, to the OB-25.
That was a ZIS-2, peeked out,
oh,
had line of sight through the light cover.
Oh, yeah, there it is. 37mm does force off the P-40 up north, though. That's big for Insha. He really needs to shut that down, and he finally does.
Got something like these Orsha coming in. These 20-man disheartened squads, very similar to Straff's, just with the disheartened trait. Going to be able to push forwards there and meet with the Gorno and the Moskaya there. But this T-34 still hasn't dealt with the BT-7 on the hill.
No, it has not. And it's definitely holding him up because he could have another flag there for sure. And if he doesn't save this 45mm, it actually opens up. Oh, an M35, is that what they are? I love these things. M35s are so good. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, T-34's gone down in the middle. Another AT kill there for Gonzo as he moves it right to the backside of the tree line in the center. But Streltsy, managing to push up on the bottom side, have now dealt with the Moskaya that was in their way. Now they've just got to get rid of the BT-7. And it seems like these BT-7s are causing way more issues than they should be. Oh,
they're so good. I love these things. They're so fast. They can kill stuff very easily. Actually, their gun is solid. It's a BA-10 gun, basically. IL-2, our first one, and unfortunately it misses the ZIS-2. It does not kill it. Probably a little bit of the suppression, too, from the 37mm. If he just moves his Streltsy up, he should be able to capture that flag. So this is, again, Insha being a little bit too timid in his assault.
Absolutely. But the Descents on the top might be able to dislodge the Mosquire and grab that flag back. This BT7 though, yeah, on the bottom, it really needs to go. This T-34 needs to get up here ASAP. The other thing that Insha really needs to do is try and shut down these ZIS-2 AT guns in the center. But he hasn't been able to do so far. One interesting thing that's come in, Gonzo's got 2 of these artillery pieces, the mountain guns, the 76.2 mils. They are
really
fantastic. If they have radio, they can aim and fire incredibly quickly. And currently on the top side, Gorno is keeping that Gonzo is keeping the Gorno Radvitka alive. He's only got 1 man there, but he's just keeping it in the corner or the edge of the tree line to provide radio on that top side of the map. So that's pretty big for him right now. He's going to have that support very handy.
The 45 mil does go down. That's definitely a big deal. And this T-34 is going to have a hard time dealing with these M35s, actually. Down south, that PTRS is playing chicken with the BT7. It did take out a transport, and Gonzo immediately called in that BT7 to hunt it down.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the BT7 is really the right choice to deal with the PTRS, because
No,
technically the PTRS can kill the BT7 quite easily at close range.
Insha finally pushing forward, though, with his Streltsy. 2 of them should be able to take out this BT7, I think, at some point with their PTRDs. Let's do it, boys. They are failing. They're dropping the ball.
They're getting damage in, but it's just taking a bit too long. The C-34E here has been in this cover for a while, though, so I'm surprised he didn't do this a lot sooner. But again, it's coming down to the fact that he's just giving Gonzo too much time to recover whenever he inflicts a significant amount of damage. Like these top and bottom side pushes have been were like incredibly decisive for Insha, but then he's kind of waited too long to fully capitalize and position, and then been pushed off it because of now the reinforcements coming up for Gonzo. With these M3Ss though, that one sniped a Sepezi Rock in the top side. That's nasty. Those Sepezi Rock squads are quite valuable.
I called them M35s. They look like a 5. I didn't zoom in far enough. M3S. My bad.
Yeah, M3 Lees they are.
Someone will say something, I know. I'm sorry. I can read, I promise.
Oh, nice artillery there coming in from Gonzo. It's right on that 37. And only just now Insha has noticed.
Yeah, they fire 12 rounds a minute. I mean, they shoot fast. It's only a little bit slower than a mortar, honestly.
The bottom side of the map for Insha still secure though. So now he's finally moved into that little compound. He has more or less secured the front on the bottom side for the time being, but it's going to let the Orsha get killed by the Gorno in the town. That is not what you like to see. There's a 20-man squad that would have been so useful. The Sepezi Rocks are still going to be useful, but the OB's already coming in.
Not if they get already out.
Ugh, the OB is just in such a good position to help with that fire support.
Oh no, oh no. Oof.
The Gornos can't surrender it though, so they will just be able to fall back for the time being, but they're not going to get to the other side of that town anytime soon. In the middle, Insha bringing up more of these Sepezi Rocks as well, and well, these aren't the best for pushing across the open. I'm surprised it doesn't have more of these like Streltsy LKM, because these Streltsy LKM have like the 9 SVTs and the DPs, which are incredibly good at the mid-range and long-range.
Up north, Gonzo has amassed a massive force, and Insha's mostly melted away, honestly.
Yep, didn't really maintain this position very well. The T-34 didn't really hold the road as it probably should have. The 45mm AT gun ended up moving into the road and getting itself killed. And now Gonzo is really exploiting that by bringing up all of these M3Ss, which are now 3-star veterancy thanks to the Gorno. So yeah, it's going to be actually rough for the T-34s to deal with at close range as well. Infantry gun's still doing a ton of damage in the middle.
Yeah, and those Sapperzi, those are I think those are 30-point infantry.
Yeah, they are.
I'm correct. Yeah, and to lose those, I mean, they're really strong, but to lose those like this is really a waste. Insha needs more like support weapons on his own big hill. Like he could be putting some Zis 3s or something there. I'd have to assume he has, and really pressuring the center, and it's empty.
Nice little bombing strike from the IL-2 on the top side there. Does definitely chip those Gornos quite significantly. But he's still relying very heavily on these like expensive infantry squads. P40 though goes down to the 37mm AA. It's a nice kill as it flies right over the top. The T-34 supporting the town engagement, putting itself in harm's way against all of these heat shells flying towards it. Only one of those needs to penetrate for a kill. That's not. And
I will mention his I don't even know how to say it. Habaka 122mm artillery actually killed a BT-7 just now. Insha's.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's got that. Brought it in. Artillery piece that he's going to be using as direct fire support for the center of the map. They can be pretty useful. I started to like remove these from my deck. I used to have them in the most of the decks that had 122s. I would take them because the heat rounds used to have the 2,000 meter range before the range changes, and then they were like really good for killing like armor that was like bigger than what you could deal with at range. But now with the range reduction on the heat shell, it's like 1,500. They're just not as effective at all.
It is doing a great job in direct fire support, though, since it actually is line of sight. It's accurate, so it's doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, they do kind of lack a bit of rate of fire, though. And
yeah, it's an artillery gun.
Yeah, they get pinned down very quickly because they are artillery. So technically they have like a debuff, especially if like a tank fires at them. They take more suppression than a standard infantry gun would.
So basically you're saying the artillerymen were babies. Just kidding. Totally kidding. Totally kidding.
Shalkani and Serpage trying to take back ground on the top side, but taking a little bit of a step too far. Ended up bumping into the Zis 12 AA onto the side of Gonzo. That thing's gonna rip up. I'm surprised it's not doing more damage, honestly.
Yeah,
those things generally rip pretty hard.
Insha's making a nice attack down south back into his own town. The T-34, before it died to the Zis 2, actually did some okay damage to these OBs and everything. If he can get this Maxim into position, he could actually really start to push Gonzo out. This would be pretty big for him.
Oh, nice micro by Gonzo, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nasty. He dodged the flamethrower of the Supazu rocks and killed off the Supazu squad with the Gorno. Very nicely done.
It is important to note that the recon can actually surrender things as long as they're in your territory.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like with the surrender mechanic, it took me a little while to like really figure out what was going on there when I started playing. But you can only surrender a unit if your front line is pushed over it. So
yes,
that is the most important part. But if it is right next to it, like there is like also a sort of small radius around a leader that will also prevent surrenders.
Yes, it's actually smaller than the radius that provides veterancy. Something to note as well.
Another P40 going down. These 37s being quite efficient, honestly, in taking down these aircraft.
Up north, T-34 taking on an M3S does succeed in that. That's kind of a big kill. He needs to kill these off to be able to push forward, but Gonzo has brought in a 203 off map there, and that's going to absolutely wipe out Insha's forces up there, and that's going to be bad.
Yeah, this is definitely a breaking point for Insha. If this hits true, kills the Su-57 and pins down these units, potentially kills the leader there as well, that would be massive for Gonzo to push into. T-34 is also going to be moving into the positioning of that off map, so we'll probably take damage, not necessarily die unless it gets super unlucky, but even so, like, it's not looking good.
It's going to be ugly. He does take out a BT-7 before he dies. Maybe he'll take out an M3S. Nope, that's coming down. 203s are pretty big though. That's gonna do some damage.
Yeah. Hits the leader directly. Will it take the SU-57?
already bringing troops in. Down goes the SU. Oh, so rough.
One of that infantry is just gonna be running, and the T-34 is gonna have to be backing off for the time being. But the M3S. Oh, what a beautiful shot there. That was technically a side shot, I think, because generally they're not going to penetrate at range with the M3Ss. Although I say that, I mean, they have like 1,500 meter range on that 80 mils penetration. So as they're getting closer, they're going to be decent penetration.
Yeah, they can do it. He does take out one in the center. I hate off map so much.
On the bottom, Gonzo's still retaining this flag in the town. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was so little. Yeah, I feel like Insha should have just bombed this with some IL-2s.
Nice little
Could
play
have
though.
had it down.
Moving his infantry up onto the hill. He has managed to get in there. If
Yeah,
he could commit more infantry onto that hill, that could actually be a really nice position for him to hold, whilst he kind of cleans up the center of the map.
Probably going to get erased here by all these sport guns.
Absolutely.
They notice him. It's gonna be rough.
That 37 and the M3S is destroying the Spezzy.
Yeah, down he goes.
Artillery now coming in though as support on the bottom side as well. There is actually counter battery coming in. There's also the Katyusha on the bottom side. I didn't see where that Katyusha fired. Was that into the town? I think it possibly was, because there's a lot of craters there. And those units were pinned down. I wasn't exactly sure why, so this probably explains it. Maxim looks like it might be able to take care of one of the OBs in the open. It just depends if it can get that last bit of damage on. The second shot coming in, though. Oh, no.
Oh, that is frustrating. That's very frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
Finally, IL-2 comes in and bombs those infantry. This is what Insha should have done 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago even. There's really no AA.
Yeah, these IL-2s are only 100 points each. So you can like buy one every tick, and then they're like really good value throughout the game. When they're killing like multiple, 20, 30 point infantry squads, it can pay itself off relatively quickly.
Yeah, up north, Gonzo's attack has really just developed here. It's overwhelming. And these Gorno in the forest, I mean, they're only 25 points. You get an 11-man squad with SVTs and 6 PPSHs. They rip in close quarters combat.
Yeah, very nice.
M3S and T-34 trade. That double shot of that M3S is so deadly.
Yeah, it did actually take 2 M3Ss to kill that, but trading the T-34 off there just makes things so much safer for Gonzo's infantry that already has an advantage. So it's kind of sad to see the Sabezi Rocks losing to these Gornos and Moscow Avtos, because the Sabezi Rocks is like almost the best close range infantry that Insha has here. Other than like maybe using the Sabezi like with the TNT. But the Moscow Avto is just such a deadly squad with its 12 Thompsons. But that IL-2, the 4
totally
50 kilogram bomb IL-2 completely whiffed there. That was really sad.
It's kind of odd. I'm surprised he didn't just like attack order those infantry, because he would have seen them, because the Sapperzy Rocks have been running into them over and over again.
Yeah, but things completely breaking here on the top side for Insha. Just overwhelming force on the map right now for Gonzo. It seems like he's just traded off Insha's infantry so damn well.
Yeah. And this is what happened to Gonzo on the south side. Insha pushed him out so fast and hard. And once you're pushed off of these like big hills in the north and the south, it's really hard to get back on them, because your reinforcement roads are totally exposed.
Yeah, it was just a shame that Insha kind of almost let Gonzo back on the hill when he had a decent position, like in the first place up there.
ISU 152 down south has just come in. I think it's targeting that SU 85 would be my guess, and obviously it'll win because it's out of range.
Like, I'm actually extremely surprised that Gonzo has really got away with like this close range engagement. Oh, sorry, this long range engagement in the open. Like, controlling all these flags in the center has been very impressive to me. Like, utilizing a lot of these support weapons, the OBs, the SIS-2s, getting the PTRSs up early, and also the Gorno Sapele early. Really just put him in such a good position in the center of the map that it's been very difficult for Insha to kind of focus on taking that back. Like, all of the emphasis ended up going into like the tops and bottom sides of the map, which I think is probably the way to win Orsha North generally, is like, if you can control these top and bottom side hills, then you can focus on the open ground afterwards. But it seems like Insha was in the right position to maybe start doing that, and then Gonzo found a way to kind of break down Insha's pushes back in the middle, and then that meant that he didn't have the reinforcements to the top and bottom side, and Gonzo exploited the top side to get it back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's what's doubly as impressive is 126th is not like a long-range division. In terms of like, it doesn't have tons of super like 2,000 meter range support at all or anything like that. It doesn't have really powerful AT per se. So
Not until the
controlling this
late
open
game,
ground,
anyway.
yeah, not well, the late game. Yeah, they suddenly open up, but up till this point, basically, Gonzo really hasn't had access to those kind of tools, and he's still dominated this central position. Now, part of that is First Polish doesn't have a ton itself either. It's definitely a close mid-range division itself, but Gonzo's just done so well. He's captured so many flags doing that. The 2 flags there, the one in the town for a good chunk of the game, and then even that little complex way into Insha's territory he's had at times.
Yeah, there's now an ISU 152 on the bottom side. So yeah, with the 126th, you do get like the KV-85s and the ISU 152s in phase C to back you up. But
and those are really good, so it really gives you some late game punch.
In Maverick, they're kind of hard to utilize, but
yeah,
in this case, I think Gonzo had some points left probably in from phase B and used that to afford this ISU 152. But all of the IL-2s now coming out looking for the bombing strikes onto some of Gonzo's infantry. He really doesn't want to fight these Morskaya Avtos directly, especially with the Streltsy, and that's not going to end well. So he's coming in there to bomb them, pin them down, and then he can move back towards them with his Streltsy unit to surrender them, but he hasn't really moved back towards them quick enough, so it doesn't look like that's going to be any surrenders there for the time being.
I will say I'm surprised that Insha's called in these 50-kilogram bomb IL-2s, because you can get 2 cards of the heavier IL-2s, and they're only 20 points more. So I don't know why you would take the 50-kilogram. They have the same availability, so I'm not 100% sure why you would take these.
Yeah, I find the 50-kilogram bomb IL-2s just fairly unreliable. Whereas like an IL-2 with the 2 50-kilogram bombs, like
kills anything.
If a unit's idle, like that unit was on the top side there, that Gorno it just got killed instantly. So just way more effective.
Yeah, that's an odd deck building choice for me, because there's absolutely no advantage other than a 20-point discount to getting a plane that kills way less reliably.
Yeah, we're starting to see Insha's bottom side now be pulled apart with the help of this ISU 152. Also the Morskaya Zeppeli there getting the better of the Streltsy on that bottom side, which is surprising because the Morskaya Zeppeli don't really have like much long-range capability.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is too, like there's a Gorno Razvedka still alive in this town, and that supplies radio to all of this backline of Insha's, which Gonzo is definitely taking advantage of with these mountain guns.
Yeah, until they run out of ammo. The trouble with these, because they fire so fast, they do often get through their ammo super fast. But here we're going to see Gonzo actually utilize some smoke with his Morskaya Avtos to try and get into this compound on the top side, looking for that 15-9 to try and seal the deal. Gorno and his town finally making a move towards the VulcanHDGaming. At close range, they'll be okay, but the VulcanHDGaming do have 3 PPSH of their own, so going to be able to deal with them nicely. VulcanHDGaming did manage to force off the Morskaya, but now up against Gorno's, and also the M3S coming in there to help out, which is going to make things very difficult on the bottom side.
Yeah, it's also 4 versus 1, so chances are low on that one. Up north, he did manage to recapture that flag on the very edge of the hill, so actually very impressive that way. And his Streltsy should be able to beat any of these close-range infantry pretty well as long as he keeps the space. I guess the one advantage of these IL-2Ms, the light ones, is that they reload really fast. This T-34, it's grown a pair right now. Look at it go.
Yeah, I thought it was actually fast-moving to find the AA for a second, but... and I think Gonzo thought the same thing, but it's turned around, it's going into the light cover to try and clean up some of this infantry from behind. You just need to be careful that he doesn't bump into a Gorno Strelki when they can just like one-bang them. The Morskaya Bohota, not so bad unless it gets in side shots.
Streltsy LKM surrenders the 2 Morskaya Avtos that were in the town complex. That's a huge pickup, and Insha has pushed himself back onto this hill. That's a really impressive grab there, honestly.
Yeah, back to a 13-11. These IL-2's actually starting to put in work, and another Gorno in the mid going to take a bomb to the face. Just a little bit off target though, unfortunately. I really feel like he shouldn't be committing to bombing strikes if he can't actually see his targets, because these IL-2s need the direct line of sight to be effective.
Yeah, and his bombing strikes are too precious right now. Like, he's under the gun. He needs to be killing key units in key moments, not just like striking at random infantry like in the middle of the map.
Yeah. I think maybe he was planning to push forwards with the odd Jalkani there, which is why he went for the bombing strike. SU-76 has also been chipping away in the centre. That's now run out of HE shells, so he's not going to be able to use that for the time being. 2 more of these universal carrier Dishkas coming in. Oh, baby.
Do it, guys. Do it, boys. You got this. Why are these 20 points? 20 points feels like so much for these.
Yeah, it is a lot, actually.
It's a ton. They ain't that good. T-34 finds the Gorno Komroti there. That throws down a quick smoke.
Here comes the Gorno Strelky.
Oh, no. Oh,
nice little smoke play here from Gonzo. It's so cheeky. The one man takes it out. Oh, you hate to see it. And now the universal carrier coming up with the recon probably would have spotted that earlier. So it's really, really sad for him.
Man. ISU 152 in the center now. So now we have some real, like, beef in the center.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Insha continues to just kind of... I mean, he's doing damage down south. Like, he's taking stuff with him. But the damage is being done consistently. And unfortunately, this 3, instead of popping out to hit that ISU, has gotten held up HE firing at the infantry down there. And now the ISU is taking pot shots at it.
It's an interesting engagement between the ZIS-12 and the Dushka carriers there for a second. I'm surprised that Insha didn't really commit for that ZIS-12 kill, because it'd be really good for him to take that out. That's such like deadly AA.
It is.
He's instead actually committing to it with the IL-2 itself.
I guess that's one way to do it.
Yeah, but now he's got to deal with the second one that's further down. Okay, it is going to kill it.
Alright, I mean, he got it.
That's something, at least. First one down. If he could take down the second, that would be great. Although 2 more are available for Gonzo. He's got 1 in the mid as well.
Unfortunately, too, he's had this Katusha sitting here with no ammo. He's finally bringing up a Studebaker for it. That could have been doing a lot more work. Let's see if this Carney can take out this M3S down here. It does get a side shot with a turret stuck crit. I don't think it can penetrate it from the front, though.
It's going to be difficult. It'll be like super low penetration shots. But with the turret stuck, the M3S isn't doing anything anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The Katusha, yeah, bringing that in was an interesting choice. I wasn't sure how I felt about it, because, yeah, you can use it to like suppress an area, but it's never really going to kill that much, right? It's not a very lethal weapon. It's just kind of...
Yeah, you need 2.
More of a suppression.
Yeah, 2 of them start to do something a little bit, but 1 is really... unreliable.
Yeah, but then you're like investing your 160 points, and the only reason that that's worth bringing in anything is for the like the heavier tanks. But yeah, after 33 minutes and 55 seconds, it's just going to throw in the towel. I feel like potentially because he was getting a little bit light on units, because he wasn't necessarily like completely out of the game at that point. You know, it's like 12 to 12, like 13 to 11 on the map. So.
He was definitely out of CQC units. Like, he had no more Sappersy or anything like that. So trying to kill those Gorno Strelky in forests like that was going to be a losing proposition. That's for sure.
And then he still had a lot of the bombers up, and he just killed one of the AA. So I don't know. That was an odd surrender to me. I don't know. There was probably something in his deck, maybe just run out of infantry. Like, I think that's probably maybe it.
I mean, he had a lot. He had 80 plus infantry units in his deck. I mean, maybe it's just the fact that the 126 has so much stronger late game stuff, like the ISU 1.5. Like, maybe he just had no way to kill that at that point.
Yeah, in the open, yeah, it would definitely be difficult.
Yeah, so maybe he just, with the tools Gonzo has at his disposal in the late game, maybe he just decided he wasn't going to get there. If we look over here, once again, the trays were really tight.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a 200-point difference, 27.45 to 25.75. So it's not like Insha got bullied, and honestly, at times it really felt like Insha was winning, but when you looked at the tickets, he was losing.
Yeah, he had really good positioning on the top and bottom side hills, but none of the flags that he should have been controlling. It was like those top and bottom side hills can give you like so much presence over the surrounding flags and not being like aggressive enough to take those flags is really what held Insha back throughout this game. Like I feel like there was points where Insha could have been like 15-9 if he'd like taken back his town flag on the bottom side. He'd pushed into the compound there earlier and was also still holding the top side of the map. Like easily would have been a 15-9, and like Insha would have been in a much better position, but just like never completely capitalized on his strong position on the top and bottom side hill, and maybe focus too much on trying to take back the mid, like in the mid game. But then again, like you can't really wait too long against 126, right? We saw the ISGs come in at the end there, and it's obviously going to make things difficult. But then you still have options to deal with the heavier armor, like with the IL-2 cluster bombers and stuff like that.
He had none of those in his deck.
Oh well.
Yeah, so those, yeah, usually yes, but he did not have those available. I know that. If we look over at the kills here, I mean, the P40 got a couple. That OB25 there, that thing did some work. Zis 2 picked up 3 tier 34s.
One thing in general that you can look at by just scrolling through is how much value his light tanks and also his like OB like support weapons, like how much damage those things did. Like those combination of units did incredibly well. Like the Zis 2 getting 3 T34E kills is just like really nice. And like the OBs are completely cleaning house in the open.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is just an example of Gonzo's mastery of combined arms. I mean, he's just using everything, and it's so deadly. If we op over to Insha's kill list here, let's see. I mean, that 122 mil,
yeah,
that thing did some work. I mean, that's impressive. 45 mil, that did well. As I mean, he should have. I wish he would have had more of these 45 mils, because against Gorno, they're actually super effective. You know, they can kill the M3S, they can kill the BT7s. They're only 35 points. More of these probably would have really helped him.
Yeah, he definitely lacked a like light AT early on, like massively. Those BT7s were causing issues for way too long.
Way too long.
The other thing that he did was invest way too much into these Polish infantry guns, which are terrible. They are just awful.
Instead of those, he could have bought 2 more IL-2s at the beginning of the game and gotten value out of them the entire game instead of late in B phase.
Yeah, like a couple of like those IL-2s early on not only would have been able to bomb the support weapons of Gonzo, they also could challenge the P40s early on. So yeah, I was just surprised it took Insha so long to start investing in his bombers.
Yeah, because that's one of the reasons to play this division is to IL-2 spam.
Yeah,
because they're just so hard to kill, and Gonzo's division doesn't have a ton of AA. Like it's not like AA heavy sort of thing, and they got it, but it's not crazy.
Well, the Zis 12s are pretty strong, to be honest.
They are strong, yeah, but it's not like he's got AA for days kind of thing. It's not like Toulon or anything like that where it's an impenetrable wall of AA fire. So I just think early, because the sooner you call in a bomber, the better. You get more value out of it. It sits around. Obviously, you get to call it in over and over again. So waiting till the end of B phase is just too long. Like it just took too long for him to leverage his air power.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could see that when he did, he made a lot of ground back on the top side.
Yeah. And I think he could have done that in the center at the beginning of the game. And he probably could have pulled out a victory, I think.
Yeah, he was in a position to win this for sure. It's just a shame that it kind of like petered out like that towards the late game.
Yeah, he just couldn't he couldn't get enough flags back to take away Gonzo's huge advantage from those central flags, because he captured 3 flags at the bottom. Like he had 3 flags on that bottom hill that he captured from Gonzo, and he was still down 13-11, which shows you how many flags he gave up in the middle to do that.
Yeah, well, yeah, as I mentioned before, like while he was holding the top and bottom, he could have easily been on a 15-9 and he wasn't. But yeah, anyway, Gonzo is going to be taking the second game of this best of 3, which means he does win the series. The semi-final goes to him, and that means Gonzo is going to be moving on to the final. And we'll find out who he's going to be playing next. Who was it in the semi-final?
Onord and Kurz, I believe. So 2 very good players. So we may see a rematch of last season between Onord and Gonzo, or we could see a new face in the finals.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Kurz can defeat Onord. I hear that you did recently.
I don't want to brag, but I actually was able to, yes.
So
And
maybe Kez has a
things-
chance.
many things were in my advantage. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm better than a Nord. I am not. But yes, it was a magical moment.
Very nice. All right. Well, that's it for now. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed these couple of games. Great job to Gonzo. Commiseration to Insha. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Hopefully, you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, and have a fantastic day.
Goodbye.
Bye.